Hey y'all, this is Miguel Escoto with the watchdog group Oilfield Witness and with the El Paso community organization Amanecer People's Project. So on September 30th of this year, Amanecer and Oilfield Witness provided a toxic tour of El Paso to a representative from Congressman Ro Khanna's office. And throughout this video, I'm going to summarize what we covered on that tour. Here we go. To start off, some context. El Paso is the 14th worst polluted city in the country when it comes to ozone, a pollutant that causes respiratory illness like asthma. And this is not by accident. El Paso is flooded with the oil and gas infrastructure and economic pressure of the Permian Basin oil and gas field. This is the #1 source of climate pollution in the world. El Paso is the 10th sunniest city in the world, but the private electric company that runs our grid, the El Paso Electric Company, only uses 5% renewable energy. The majority of our electricity comes from gas plants like these that pipe in fracked gas from the Permian. So now that we got that context out of the way, we can start with our first stop of the toxic tour, which is the Montana Vista gas plant operated by El Paso Electric in Far East El Paso. At the tour, we heard testimony from frontline community member Ralph Carrasco, who led a campaign to prevent the construction of this gas plant in 2015. Here's a good New York Times article that covers that story. So despite an entire campaign to prevent El Paso Electric from building this gas plant, the private company went forward and built it anyway. They spent millions of dollars to build this. The community resistance, however, won some concessions, for example, forcing the company to only build 4 turbines instead of the 8 that they originally planned. The second stop of the tour was the Newman gas plant located in northeast El Paso. In 2021, Amanecer led a full campaign to prevent El Paso Electric from expanding this gas plant to add a 6th turbine. Do you think the privatized utility company listened to the will of the community, or do you think that they ignored us for the sake of fossil fuel profit? So unfortunately, in 2021, the electric company did get their permit to expand the gas plant, but because of the community resistance campaign, again, we won some concessions. This is an example of one of the concessions that we won, a 40% reduction of CO2 and ozone emissions compared to what the company originally wanted to pollute. During this toxic tour with a representative from Ro Khanna's office, certified thermographer Sharon Wilson from Oilfield Witness recorded this video here. The footage captured by an optical gas imaging camera like this one is able to visualize methane and volatile organic compounds which are otherwise invisible to the naked eye. So not surprisingly, we're seeing a lot of emissions at this site. That right there is fueling the climate crisis. Next stop on our tour, you already know. You already know. The El Paso refinery sits right in the middle of our city, currently owned by Marathon Petroleum, formerly owned by Western Refinery and Paul Foster. This site is also connected to the Permian Basin climate bomb, refining a lot of barrels of crude oil directly from these oil fields, and we suffer the pollution. Along with the El Paso electric gas plants, the refinery is a major source of emissions here in the region. It's a top polluter for particulate matter 10, which causes respiratory illness. And in 2020, the refinery reported 4,008 pounds of illegal air pollution. El Paso Times article on it. Here's a video of the refinery that Sharon Wilson from Oilfield Witness took a few years ago. As you can see, there are emissions off-gassing from the storage tanks and polluting the environment. Finally, we visited the Zavala Elementary School, which is dangerously located fence-line to the Bridge of the Americas, Puente Libre. We heard testimony from Semeli de Aslan and Hilda Villegas from Familias Unidas del Chamizal about the stalling traffic from the bridge, especially the diesel trucks, polluting heavy toxins which harm children in the Chamizal directly. If you can see there, that's the bridge, that's the highway with a lot of diesel truck emissions during traffic hour. And here is the elementary school, really close. The playground's right there. So to conclude, it's important to realize that El Paso is deeply impacted by fossil fuel companies in the region, especially because of the Permian Basin climate bomb. The other important conclusion is that we can organize to win the world we deserve. Check this out. This was that very same day, September 30th of this year, the Amanecer People's Project membership launch. It's just a matter of coordinating, strategizing, and educating ourselves. So I hope this virtual toxic tour of El Paso was helpful. Please share with your friends and please get involved. This is a link where you can sign up to become a member of the Amanecer People's Project. If you're based in El Paso, this Saturday there's an orientation, and there's an orientation every month. So please check that out to get involved. And to learn more about oil and gas pollution, especially in the Permian Basin, please follow Oilfield Witness at that website. See you later.